What's up, everybody? This is Justin Carlisle with the Lost Controllers doing a first impression video of Batman Arkham Knight for PS4. It's just going to be a quick video going over what I think of it so far. I'm currently halfway done. I'm at the 55%. I'm just going to basically run through it and tell you what I think about it. For those of you that don't know, this is indeed a Batman game, the last in the Arkham series. There have been 4 games including this one. And in this one in particular, we are following Batman as he tries to save Gotham from Scarecrow's fear toxin. For this particular halfway review, I'm going to break it up into 4 parts: story, gameplay, graphics, and extras. Going into story, let's first talk about Scarecrow. Scarecrow really does a good job of being the new main villain. In the previous Arkham games, Joker has been the main villain, kind of the head of the rogues gallery that you were fighting, and I really was expecting to miss him, but I really don't. Scarecrow does a great job of being a big, menacing figure at the top of the whole thing. He just does a great job. Joker, by the way, is featured. That is not necessarily a spoiler. He is dead. The beginning of the game does show that he is indeed dead, but he is featured in flashbacks and in another particular story element that I won't spoil, but is handled very well. The Arkham Knight, as the game's name would entail, is surprisingly, in the first half of the game, put into more of a henchman style role. He's Scarecrow's main go-to henchman. My impression isn't complete of him so far, halfway into the game, but I like the character so far. As per the norm for these Arkham games, you have multiple villains that you can take on at any time as side missions or mini missions. They do a really good job of varying these missions. You've got everything from chasing Firefly in the Batmobile. You can take on Two-Face's thugs, stop them from robbing banks with the new and improved Predator mode. Taking on large groups of the Arkham Knight's henchmen in hand-to-hand combat. And of course the Riddler puzzles, which are a game favorite of this series. All have a very good sense of variety. You don't feel like you're doing the same thing over and over again. If you ever get bored of one particular type of mission, you're able to go into something that is completely different on the other side of things. And just kind of a closing statement for the story, it's on point. You care about the story. The main villain is menacing. You've got a lot of different things going on. If you want to sidetrack yourself from the main story, there are real plot twists so far. There are things coming that you don't expect. The story is just what you would expect from a good Batman story. Going into the gameplay, this is where you can really tell that Rocksteady has been working on this and perfecting this in comparison to Arkham Origins, which they did not produce. This is how that game should have handled. This is how a game after Arkham City should be done. Everything is smoother. You've got new mechanics everywhere. Everything from gadgets to hand-to-hand combat moves to Predator moves. Predator mode is faster now. Predator mode has new aspects to it instead of just sneaking around the room. You've got counters, all kinds of things that you need to worry about now that really ups the fun factor. The city is a lot bigger to accommodate the Batmobile, which is the biggest and broadest new mechanic of the entire game. I really didn't know what to expect from the Batmobile going in. I thought, cool, I get to drive the Batmobile, and that was about it. It surpassed all of my highest expectations. It drives and handles really well. Unlike previous Batman games, such as movie tie-in games where you're driving like the Tumbler, it's so much smoother. The mechanic is just perfect. It's been integrated really well into both combat and puzzles. It has a completely separate combat mode that you can activate, which allows you to move around more like a tank instead of a car. Gives you guns and missiles and all this to destroy drones that are attacking you, brought on by the Arkham Knight. This is where a lot of other reviewers find the mechanic to not fit in with Batman. They feel that the car driving around and just destroying everything and having machine guns and rockets coming out of the Batmobile and destroying stuff doesn't fit the character. But I believe that it does fit with certain Batman storylines, such as The Dark Knight Returns. This is a war zone kind of scenario. This fits in with what the story is kind of set the surrounding to be. There's not innocent people running around. These are all thugs, and everything that he fires is non-lethal, except at drones, which they make very clear that they are drones. There are no people inside these other tanks or planes that you're shooting down. Basically, I just think that the mechanic is new and it's fun and it varies up the gameplay. So I have no complaints about it in regards to that aspect. Where I do have complaints about the Batmobile involve puzzles, because the Batmobile is pushed very hard into the puzzle aspect of the game. It feels forced in the first quarter of the game. It feels like, oh, you're just using the Batmobile because it's featured in this game. But after a while, it really does feel like just another gadget on your tool belt. There is a remote drive feature that you can access anywhere, basically, and it allows you to bring the car over and take out thugs that are maybe on the other side of the building. You can, if you're ever in a pinch and you need someone to bail you out, you can call the Batmobile in to come up behind somebody. You can use the Batmobile to power generators. You can use the Batmobile to pull up elevators. And like I said, it feels forced in the beginning, but as the game goes on, it's pushed less and less, and the integration feels a lot more seamless. And of course, using the Batmobile to get around the city is ideal. Things such as the grapple and glide mechanics have been vastly improved, because this is a much bigger city, and you moved relatively slow in the previous Arkham games, but you will find yourself calling in the Batmobile a lot, and finding that it is the easiest way to get through the city and the fastest way to get to that wave. Going into graphics, looks great, looks awesome. The big city is very well detailed, all the new character models look pretty good, but they have done that thing where they try to make the women look ultra realistic, and it kind of makes their model look a little bit funny. But it's not a major complaint at all. Overall, graphically looks great. Much improved over the previous Arkham games. Going into extras, there's a lot of DLC for this game. I personally downloaded 9 to 10 gigs of extra content from everything from episodes, which allow you to play as different characters. What I have right now is Harley Quinn and the Red Hood. I haven't touched that stuff yet, but it really excites me. It's just something I get to do after the game. It gives me something to look forward to, so even when I 100% that section of it, I'm able to go into this. They have promised more things to come, such as Batgirl, which is going to be really awesome, but personally I'm most excited to play as Harley Quinn. There is DLC similar to what was featured in previous Arkham games, such as Batsuit. You not only get to change the look of Batman, but you also get to change the look of your allies, such as Robin. He comes with 2 or 3 suits. And of course you get to change the look of the Batmobile, which is really great. And just in case you were wondering about the 66 Batmobile that's been featured in a lot of promotional stuff, the 66 Batmobile is more of a paint job. It does not change the body of the Batmobile to the original 66. It basically puts red highlights and the red bat symbol on the Batmobile, but I have no complaints about that. It makes that Batmobile look even cooler, and they use the original 66 bat symbol. So no complaints there. Overall, and in closing, this is not just a 20-hour game. This is a game that they are going to support for the next 6 months, and is a game that's going to have high replay value. And final thought, go get the game. It's a fantastic game. Gameplay is great. The story is interesting and cool. If you love Batman, you're going to love this game. Once again, this has been Justin Carlisle with The Lost Controllers. Look for our other videos that will be coming up, and look for the Lost Controller podcast that should be coming here in the next couple weeks. Thank you very much. Please like, share, and subscribe.